So one of the things we read in Jonah 3, verses 4 through 10 is 40 days they are given to repent, and they actually do. So here you have this guy that shows up, he's walking around, he's telling everybody to repent, and he's walking around this huge city. Says it takes 3 days to walk around this place, is how big it is, because I'm sure you had outer grounds as well. And even the king gets on board of Nineveh and issues a decree for everybody to fast and wear sackcloth. And we see that God actually spares them. So that is Jonah 3, verses 4 through 10. So it's rather interesting. And this is where we really dive into the story and we find out there's got to be more going on, right? Because if these people are as wicked and as far from God as you can get, having some, Israelite come in here and waltz around and, say you need to repent or my God's going to wipe you out in 40 days doesn't make a whole lot of sense. There has to be something else going on here and a little bit more catalyst to the story to really get them to take this serious. So I believe there are 4 key points that occurred that God laid out ahead and during Jonah's trip to Nineveh. And I think that one of those events is actually key to us possibly knowing the exact day that Jonah was in Nineveh, the exact day. The Bible doesn't say when, but I think we can kind of read into the story a little bit and look through history and know when this actually happened. So here are your 4 events. The first one is actually an event that occurred more than likely a few months prior to Jonah being called to take the journey by God to Nineveh. And we can read in the book of Amos that this is actually talked about, as well as Zechariah, about a massive earthquake that occurred during the time of Uzziah, who was king of Judah, and Jeroboam was second king of northern. So you have 2 kings, right? You have 2 kingdoms, 2 kings. You have Jeroboam in the northern kingdom, and you actually have Uzziah in the southern kingdom, and there's some overlap during that time frame. So we get a really good pinpointed time frame during the overlap period of when this had to have occurred, right? And you can read right in Amos 1:1 that it says that these words are actually 2 years prior to the great earthquake, which is kind of shocking. If you've never read that before, go take a look. I'm not making it up. This writing is thought to have been from around 765 BC, which would place the earthquake at 763 BC. Remember that date, 763 BC. So do we have scientific record of this event? Well, yeah, we do. So many studies have actually been done on the ground around the area in regard to what scientists believe was actually an 8.2 magnitude earthquake. So a very, very large and severe, powerful earthquake. So we have all of these pictures. You see some of the pictures here of this particular area. I forget where this was taken at, but we have foundations that are huge and like however many feet thick that have been completely tossed over. There's all kinds of damage up in the area that scientists have found that can trace back to this time frame, rock layers and sediment layers being liquefied during this time frame. I mean, there's tons of scientific evidence pointing to this, and this would have really reverberated out very far and would have completely destroyed a lot of these settlements or caused extreme damage, and I'm sure with it, extreme death, because this is going to be a pretty heavy-duty event, all right? So I actually postulate that the Amos earthquake occurred in April of 763 BC, 795 years before the earthquake of Christ's crucifixion.